Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Game Show Roundtable, where it is podcast number 4. And this week we are here to talk about one of the greatest game shows in history, and that is Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? But we are specifically talking about the syndicated version this week. And with me to help cover everything about Syndication Millionaire is PSI Kirby.
Hello, it's me, PSI Kobe here.
And yes, that was the iconic Millionaire theme song. But yes, and this week it's Syndicated Millionaire. It spans a few decades, a decade or two, and they had a lot of different formats, and everything changed, and there was a lot of different interesting, I would say, changes to the game made because after it went off prime time, they got married to Fiera, and she's a great host. And I believe yes, when they did Syndicated Millionaire, it was there was a noticeable drop in the amount of winners, and that may be due to a multitude of factors, and we don't necessarily know why, but some of it had to do with some harder questions. So basically, when the show begins in Syndicated, it's a 30-minute show. It's reduced to 30 minutes as usual with syndication. It is hosted by Meredith Vieira, and the show moves quick enough. There's still no time limit on the questions, no time limit on how long contestants have to take. Still the same 3 lifelines, I believe. I believe they added a switch in in a certain year. It still asked the audience 50-50 and phone a friend. They added switch the question once you passed $50,000 at a certain point. And basically, it was the same Millionaire you know and love, but just a little bit more sped up. There was a lot more editing done, and it was much less humorous and much more serious, I would say, but there were still funny clips and moments in there.
Lots of funny clips.
Do you have any thoughts or anything you want
to? Not yet.
So yeah, there are a bunch of lifelines. And Syndicated, it performs well. I would say it performs well, right?
Yeah,
it performs pretty well.
Yeah, I believe it performs pretty well. You can still occasionally see it on the Game Show Network. It hasn't been booted off the TV series, the TV.
Yeah. And still is succeeding and everything. And it continues to perform well for them. And I would say it would be a very good transition for them as they went into their elder years.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
No,
sorry.
I don't think so. I don't really have any thoughts at the moment.
Sorry, what did you say? Sorry.
I didn't say anything. Continue on.
Oh, okay. So I'll just continue. There's only $1 million winner in the syndicated version throughout its lifetime. One legit $1 million winner. There were actually 2, but the second one was counted to a tournament of 10, which we'll get to it. But yeah, no one won the $1 million. And they had to make the game easier, and it still was just really difficult because of the really difficult questions. Do you have any thoughts on maybe the increase in difficulty? Sure.
I don't think so. I mean, as the questions go on, it gets harder and harder, and they have to use their lifelines for those harder questions and not waste them on the easy questions.
Yeah, that's hard to save them when some questions are getting harder at the middle. Is there anything specifically you enjoy about Millionaire?
I guess one of the things I like about Millionaire, and I guess even though it's not technically in the U.S., version of it. They're all different. There are different versions of things that differentiate from the U.S. Like in the Thai version of Millionaire, they have a new mode, have a new lifeline called Ask the Host, where they can ask the host for help on a question because the host themselves doesn't even know the answer until the contestant says the answer. So I thought that was a good one. And
yeah, you can continue.
yeah, and there's also that one moment, that infamous moment we saw on YouTube or whatever on YouTube with Charles Ingram cheating cheating the game for $1 million with Charles Whitakoff. What?
Yeah, but that was Tequin.
Tekken
Yeah.
Whitlock. He's the one who was coughing all around during Ingram's millionaire thing, and he helped him cheat, and then they paid lots of lawsuits because they got caught.
Yeah. But yeah, but how do I say it? That was Primetime Millionaire. So we're only covering Syndicated, but it's okay. Yeah. So how would I say this? There are a bunch of different formats. So after a few years, people, not necessarily the ratings dropping, but it's getting a little stale, and people are getting a little tired of it and everything. And so they changed it up. It's the clock format, and what this basically did is the first 5 questions would be 15 seconds. This question 6 through 10 would be 30 seconds, and questions through 11 through 14 would be 45 seconds. And the final question would be 45 seconds plus whatever time you had saved up through the game, basically whatever time you didn't use on the questions. And yeah, so it's not an element of having to rush through it.
So basically, whatever time they have left over, it gets added to that 45 seconds.
Yeah, basically. And you'd think this would speed up the game, but in a way it kind of dragged it down because whenever a lifeline was used, the clock would stop, and basically the contestants might try to drag out whatever long time the lifeline is being used in that way. So Meredith would restart the clock, but whenever a lifeline was used, basically Meredith would.
It gives them more time to think.
Yeah, more time to think. So it gives them more time to think. Yeah, so basically they try to stretch out the lifeline. Not necessarily to use it, but just because they need something else to. So it led people to use the nest lifelines maybe when they didn't need to, when Eliminable Before Thought could have saved the lifeline for later, and thus they burned through all their lifelines before tier 3 or tier 4. They burned through them too early to ever get to the $1 million. So do you have any thoughts on the clock or? Do you have any thoughts on the clock? No.
No. Just save those lifelines for near the end. That's all I can say there.
Yeah. Is there anything specific you want to mention?
I guess there's this one. Are we allowed to talk about like humorous moments about the clock version?
Yeah.
Like there was this one moment in the clock version Millionaire where it says, "What color is Pikachu normally from Pokemon?" Remember that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and then they decided to call a friend. I don't know if it was an expert or a friend, but he was asking the questions, and then the contestant says, "Are you sure about that?" And the guy on the phone says, "I'm dead. Got really mad." And he says, "Don't question me." Yeah, that was one of the funny moments during the clock version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I want to mention how the first question is usually along the lines of A, B, C. This is stupid. Like it'll be A, B, C. Like will be someone competent on the first question, and D will be somewhere like a random thing that's supposed to make the audience laugh. So I think they've done that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many questions they had to come up with for that, but that's a lot to be coming up with some jokes with. But
Oh, and I guess it's also worth mentioning that each of the questions has a theme to it. Like on the clock wasn't like one song would
oh
be
yeah,
about
categories.
yeah
That
we had
does help.
yeah
That does help, but like you're gonna see the question anyway. Like I guess it can help if you're trying to like save a lifeline for a specific question. Like like oh I'm not gonna know this. I'm gonna need it. But sometimes they're like really vague, and other times it's like somewhat. But at the end of the day, you still have to use the lifeline when you need it. Like it doesn't. The categories don't help as much as they should. Maybe.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, if you like, if you ran out of time, it was an automatic walk. So unless you use double dip, which was okay. Do you want to debate which is better, double dip or 50-50?
Double double dip is 50-50 but worst. For 50-50 removes two of the wrong answers, or double dip is just it's more like a 75 a 33 33 33.
Yeah, I know the odds if you want me to do them.
Mm-hmm.
So for double dips, so the first guess is 1/4, obviously, 1 out of 4, and then the next guess is 1 out of 3. So the chances of you getting it right on the first guess are 25%, and then the odds of you getting it right on the second guess are 33%. So basically, it's 1/4 times 1/3, but
Mm-hmm.
really it's 2 out of 4. So it's more like technically not 50%, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I would say 50-50 is just better because it's basically double dipping for you in a way where it eliminates 2 wrong answers, so that if you had used double dipping you were wrong both times, like that's what 50-50 does just off the
Yeah.
bat,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Yes.
But it doesn't necessarily help you, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't necessarily help you. It does help you just by making it easier. It's like one or the other, but
Do
it
you only
simplifies the question if you have like no idea, basically.
yeah. Do, the only reason I think double dip would be better than 50-50 is if you're stuck between you're stuck between two answers. But even then,
Yeah,
if you get the answer, if you get the correct answer, if you get the correct answer the first time before you use the second one, it's kind of a waste in a way.
yeah. The thing with 50-50 is that it's 2 wrong answers, whereas a double dip, you're not given any information as to what's wrong. You're only given what's wrong after the first guess, and you only know that one answer is like incorrect, which makes it like so like you have less. You still have to because like let's say both your double dip guesses are wrong, and okay, like after the first guess, you can't walk away anyways, or you could just waste it basically. You get on the first guess, but it's also like after the first guess, you can't walk away. Basically, you can't walk away. You have to answer the question regardless. Like
Mm-hmm.
for double dip, for 50-50, it's basically a better. I would say it's better just because it already does the double. It does the double dip for you, and then, but they're both wrong. And then you're just left to battle between the two choices, and one of them is right. So 1 in 2 odds is better than 1 in 4 odds. So that's just naturally
Mm-hmm.
better, regardless. Yeah. So I do not like Ask the Expert because it just feels like, yeah, you get it after the fifth question. Or once they retired, phone a friend. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like it was like most of the time it didn't help them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, at least it's better than ask the host, which is not in the U.S., but still, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good to mention that compares like that too.
Yeah. I feel +1 is a better lifeline than Ask the Expert. Like they wanted to introduce a +1, like they could have done it here, but
Mm-hmm.
because plus one you get to choose, and like as the expert, you don't know who it could be, and you have to. I'm pretty sure they tell you who it is before you use it, but you still have to know what that person probably knows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have the tournament of 10, which is basically like it's not Speed Millionaire, but it is. You have to get the highest winnings in the fastest amount of time, basically, and like the top 10 people who the top 10 people with the highest winnings, but they would also have to have like a fast enough time to qualify. They would each go. Then they would each answer $1 million question, and whoever got the question correct would whoever got the question correct would be in contention for winning $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
But only one person answered the question, and that was Sam Murray, so he won.
Yes.
Yes. Um, they retired Phone a Friend here as well. I understand why they retired it. I know some people will say, "Oh, well, the UK version just locks them in a room," and like, yes, but it's not exciting. Like, there's no point. Like, the entire point of Phone a Friend was that your friend could be like eating a burger and like, or not necessarily eating a burger, but like you call them up and they're doing something stupid or like interesting. And like when you lock them in a room, there's really no incentive for anything interesting to happen. It's just gonna be the Phone a Friend with the music. Like there's gonna be nothing interesting. Like you're not gonna get those moments where it's um like that besides like that Pikachu moment that you're talking about, but yeah, like
Yeah. Yeah. They
the
use
chances of a
type.
funny moment happening when they're like locked in a room for production are like way lower just because the chances of something humorous happening are I guess lower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's how I feel. Do you want to move on to shuffle or do you want to
Yeah.
talk about something of clock?
Mm-hmm. I mean, we want to shuffle. If I do have an idea for clock, I'll come back. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Um So shuffle. Oh boy, here we go. So basically, because the questions were getting too not necessarily too hard, but they removed a question, so now it's only 14. Um, it's not that it was getting too hard, but basically, the show thought we need something to mix up because people weren't winning as much. They weren't winning as much, and even with the revised money tree, people were just not willing to take a shot at the million, and thus they shook up the game a little bit. And basically, what they did is they randomized the money values for the first 10 questions, and they um made it they randomized the money values and randomized the question order, so you didn't know what you were getting ever. And then the last four questions were basically just classic millionaire, 100,000, 250, 500,000, a million. Um, and then they had to ask the audience, and then they replaced 50-50 and phone a friend with or whatever else with two jumps. And what these jumps allow you to do is you sacrifice the money um behind any question to advance to the next question, basically. To just skip the question, basically.
That
Yeah.
that that. Mhm,
And this is
that
also when Meredith Vieira's run ended and there was a lot of host changes. So
mhm. That's probably a hard thing to do because do do do, do they wait on do they keep the money do they keep the money or they just skip it? Like if you have like if you end up $8,000 $8,000 question, do you just not get $8,000 or do you?
if you walk in round one, like while they're still shuffled, um you get half your bank. If you walk after you're done with round one, you get your whatever your bank is. So like if you got like $58,000 in round one, you can walk with that in round two. But after you answer like a question in round two, if you answer a question in round two and you get it right, that's your bank now. And if you get anything wrong in round two, it goes straight to 25,000, basically making round one moot. Basically, it makes round one completely moot, which is not a portion that I like about it. I wish it would just maybe if you get it wrong, you just go down to whatever your bank is. I would rather just that be it. Because I don't like the going down to 25,000. Like, there's no point. Then what was the point of round one? Like, really? What was even the point? Like,
Yeah.
unless you could save the jumps, like, and even then, there's only 2 jumps. It's not like, yeah.
Mhm.
They got rid of the hot seat. What I will say is I think that I don't think it was a bad choice, but I don't think it was a good choice either. I just think it wasn't a bad choice. Like, I think they were comfortable in the hot seat. I felt like the game moved a little faster when it was in the hot seat, but then again, like, I think when they're standing, it helps them visually understand the question. And I think we can talk about the music. Yeah. So the hot seat basically I like the standing more because it allows for more intense emotions. I feel like it makes it more intense because they have to basically you can just sit down and like calm yourself. Because with the seat you can kind of just sit in there and like calm yourself. But when you're standing it's like you can't really like cope. Does that make sense? Like
Yes.
because when you're sitting it's just kind of like okay, sit, calm down, like chill. But when you're not sitting, it feels more like okay, there's something like you have more blood flowing, or I think your heart rate is faster when you're standing. I think that's what it is.
Mm. I
Yeah,
I believe so too.
when you're standing, I think your heart rate is faster, so maybe that. Yeah. Um. So. Um. How do you think about the music, like the new music they use for Syndicated, besides the old cues, like the new cues they were using for the music?
I think they sound. I think they sound great. I don't know if I don't know if it's better, but it did make a difference.
Yeah. What I'll say is like okay, the round one music for Syndicated Millionaire, it's bad. Like the shuffle, like when during the shuffle portion, it's bad. I don't like it. I like the round one music in Harrison's with the purple lights and everything, but I prefer the I prefer the I prefer the round two music mostly. Just I prefer the round two music for Shuffle Millionaire where like 100,000, 250,000. Like that's my favorite music. I would just say. So yeah, Meredith Vieira leaves the show, and they go through Cedric the Entertainer and Terry Crews, and neither stay for more than a season. I thought Cedric was good. The problem is he tried to like everything like got off track like really fast, and then Terry Crews, he was a good host. It's Terry Crews, and Terry Crews hosted America Got Talent, and he tried to bring that person on a Millionaire when there isn't. You can't really do that. Like it's a contrast.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Like it's quiet excited versus like oh my god. Yeah, and they also replaced the jump with +1, which is my favorite lifeline. Oh my god, I gotta tell you how much I like +1. It's a good lifeline. I finally figured it out. Like, just bring the person to the studio, and there you go. There's your replacement. There's your phone a friend replacement.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, cool, and I think it's better that they're with them because it helps more. And I think obviously, and it helps more. And I think thinking through the question together actually helps more than getting like 30 seconds of um. Are you looking up something?
Oh yeah. Actually, let's just keep talking. I am, but just keep talking. I just need to make
Yeah.
something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So basically um Yeah, so Mary DeVere and Terry is too good. And then 2015 hits, and finally, we're back to where we began with Chris Harrison. There's only 14 questions. They took out the 15. And there's 2 thresholds. We're back to that. There's no time limit, there's no nothing, there's no shuffle, there's no jumping. There's 50-50, there's +1, and there is that's the audience, and we are back. We're back. And something I liked the Harrison era. I'll be honest. I know a lot of people were like, "Well, it's not the same. Something's off." Like it
Mhm.
wasn't too off for me. I understand why they felt something was off. I just like I'm not sure if they're not, I'm not sure if it's my problem with the Harrison era is the questions. Like they have to stop phrasing the questions so complicated. Like instead of asking like if you took the number of squares on a tic-tac-toe board, like, okay, this is a complicated question. Okay, right. So the number of squares on a tic-tac-toe board and you multiply that by the number of wives King Henry VIII has, what do you get? 72, 64, like it'd be better to just ask like they're trying to take the 1 versus 100 route. Like you remember 1 versus 100 where they would have those trick questions where it's
Yes.
like who's the who which president was like,
Yeah, that sounds
yeah,
like
like which president, and then it'd be named the city the president was like born in or something instead of
hmm
like
that sounds like you don't know Jack stuff.
yeah. I feel like the Harrison era like took that
hmm
mostly like in the first 2 tiers when like that's not supposed to be until like the 3rd tier like and
hmm
like the like Millionaire is not necessarily about remembering like 3 facts. Like it's a question. There's a reason it's called a question. It's supposed to be 1 question, not 3. Like, and they try to like fit these sub questions in where it's like, okay, we're gonna put like sub questions and make the question like worded differently, and we're gonna confuse the contestant. And by confusing the contestant, you basically um make them use lifelines and burn out earlier, which I think was the one bad thing about it.
hmm
I don't think it's bad always. I just think it was like excessive. And even like in the early tier, sometimes it's not that the question is bad, it's just that they word it badly and add all like these buzzwords and filler words that you don't need to make it harder than it should be. So yeah, I see a lot of the questions, especially in the new syndicated era, are like they're very they have a lot of like moving parts to them where it'll be like the amount of people in space plus the amount of years Pat Sajak hosts the Wheel of Fortune times the amount of like years George Washington was alive, and it'll be like all these obscure facts. It'll be like you need to know 3 things in one, or it'll make the question harder, kind of like on 1 versus 100. But I think the difference is that, you know, um, the difference here is that Millionaire is a multiple choice. So you can like rule out things, but it should still just be 1 question. It shouldn't make you like solve questions within the question in a way, right?
But seems like too much
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, like I'm okay with like a few of those at the beginning, but there's also times where like they'll throw you off, where they'll just add filler for no reason. Like like you could have just asked me like what's 9 plus 7, but then you make the question more complicated. Or like there was this one person where they got this super complicated question about um um yeah basically they got a question about um like calories and stuff.
hmm
Yeah. Um oh yeah, it was like how many cupcakes um could someone so like okay, it was like Stony down 125 cupcakes in under 9 minutes and like they consume like 12,000 calories and it was like how many calories per cupcake and it was like you didn't really need to ask much. All you need to ask was okay, if you eat 125 cupcakes in something like 9 minutes, you consume 12,000 calories, which is how many calories per cupcake. Like you didn't need to add like this like YouTube star or something. But I understand that, but like sometimes they'll add things that are like not necessary to the question, kind of like the weakest link. Do you get what I'm going for
Yeah,
here?
I do get it.
Because like sometimes on the weakest link they'll also be like, oh, okay, well, if you're downing this right now, what are you doing? And it's like, yeah, and sometimes it'll be filler.
Sometimes
Yeah,
some quests
yeah,
need filler in a quest to make it a bit more confusing.
yeah, yeah. So I don't want to say it's bad for the show. It just drags it out longer than it should be, and I think we need to keep a pace. And I think in the earlier seasons they were able to keep that pace, but I think once Shuffle started, they couldn't keep that pace going as fast as they could. It still goes fast, just not fast enough, I think.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
agree.
So is there anything you want to comment maybe? Or something?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. I saw the Google. I was while you were talking, I was googling about the phone your friend, and apparently it's premeditated. Like whenever they phone a friend, it's already premeditated, so they know the answer. They already know the answer. They know the answer based on the knowledge. They removed it because they don't want people on the phone to Google the answer.
That is true. They don't want people Googling it. That's why they got rid of it. But, I mean, yes, I know the UK version just isolates them in a room, but it's still like you wouldn't get a better moment. Like, the best moments on Millionaire are like with Phone a Friend, it was either when someone Googled the answer or when it was like something else funny, like John Carpenter or something about when they actually had like something funny to say. Because if they're just in the studio, it's not as funny. Like you can't get really anything comic. Like yeah, it's good for the game, but there's not really much you can get in that 30 seconds. Like because most of the time the friend is just clueless, so it's probably better to you can have good banter, but if they're just in the studio, you really can't have good banter or anything because they're not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Nothing else to
yeah.
add.
Yeah. Okay, what else can we? So you want to talk about contestants or you want to talk about hosts? Because
We can talk about the contestants.
yeah, contestants. I think because we went over the hosts kind of already. So, is there anyone in particular that you think is interesting to talk about besides not Charles Ingram? We'll talk about Charles Ingram another time, but
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't think I barely recognize the contestants' names
oh okay.
except for Muffin Walker, who is one of the hosts in Masterminds.
Yeah, she was on a show. She like did really well. She got like 50,000, and then 100. When she got to 100,000, she had to use all three of her lifelines, which I mean I don't think it was a bad choice, but yeah. I think we should talk about an interesting one, which is Shiva as well. So like he did like all these crazy math problems, and like everyone likes him, which was interesting. Um, it was obviously WizKid. Oh, the WizKids week. Do you know what the WizKids week are?
I
The
I,
WizKids week.
I think I know what the Kid Week is. A
Yeah,
kid
it's like
just
where they give the kids questions, and usually it's like to show off their like skills and everything.
yeah,
And most of the
yeah.
questions are like working it out, and like most of the questions you can work it out, and it's like I don't think they got easier ones than the adults. I just think they got ones where you could like work it out, and like ones where you could like it took a lot of time, so it
It
played to
did.
their strengths with like the studying and all that. Well, they don't study for Millionaire, but it works to their advantage because it's a process. Whereas you know it or you don't. Like most of the time they didn't have those, but maybe once or twice they did because they had questions where you can work it out, especially in the Wiz Kids week.
Yes.
Whereas more like regular Millionaire, you don't have as many of those type of questions or math questions or just work it out questions.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically, um, is there anything you want to talk about?
Nothing in particular.
Yeah. I guess we could talk about there was this one question where basically it was like how many where Domino sells the most pizzas during what holiday? Halloween, New Year's Eve, Super Bowl Sunday, or Thanksgiving? And the answer was What do you think the answer is? Because I'll tell you.
Say the question again.
So it was, when does Domino's deliver the most pizzas or sell the most pizzas? Super Bowl Sunday, New Year's Eve, Thanksgiving, or Halloween?
Super Bowl Sunday. Because I don't think they deliver during Halloween or Thanksgiving unless it's free boards.
Yeah, the answer was New Year's Eve. Like 80% of the audience like went with Super Bowl Sunday. It was New Year's Eve, which was
Which I guess makes sense.
yeah. I was like, oh, well, you know what's funny is like the audience went down so much in like trust. Like regular Millionaire, like but like, it was like you could trust the audience, but like Syndicated Millionaire, it's like you can't trust the audience after like the fifth question, like at all.
Mm-hmm.
They just get it wrong so many times, and I always hear people say like, "Oh well, you can just tell them to not vote," or like it's okay. You're gonna vote because you want to vote. Like when I'm voting, like I don't care what you say. Like now, I'll vote for like an answer. Like if I know an answer is wrong, I'll vote for that. If I don't truly know it, that way you don't. And you might say like, oh, well, that's counterintuitive, but the best way I think to do it is to like if you know there's an answer, like if you know D is wrong, tell everyone to vote for D if you don't know it. That way you actually get like you take those people out and then you compare the three other percentages.
Yeah, that seems like a very good strategy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Otis won $500,000. Nancy Christie is like millionaire. What do you think about the jumps? Do you think the jumps are going back to shuffle for a second? Do you think the jumps are like a good lifeline or a bad lifeline? Because like I kind of like the jump, but I don't like them in theory. Like
I'm not.
weird.
I'm not sure because you don't get the next step of it. You won't get $1 million from it. I don't think.
Yeah, because it doesn't help you. Like even if you keep all three lifelines till the end, like really the only help you have on the million is the audience, which like the entire point of keeping the lifelines is so you don't have to,
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have. It makes it easier on the later questions. So yeah. I would say that. Yeah, the jump is not the best lifeline. There's another lifeline. Oh yeah. So they had Crystal Ball in Shuffle as well, and that revealed the money behind the question, and I really like that one. Personally, for that Shuffle format, I think it should be a permanent one. Do you like that?
Yes.
Maybe like okay. Here's the four lifelines I would have in Shuffle: ask the audience, a +1, one jump, and then a crystal ball. Or if you want to make it 3, remove the jump and have the crystal ball instead. But then again, the crystal ball only works with the jump, like in a way, right? Because it only works if you can jump. So I would just have those 4.
I see.
Yeah, permanent.
What I would do for like lifelines is probably 50-50. Ask the audience.
Yeah.
No, 50-50. Ask an audience member. Pour the audience. And the +1.
Mm-hmm.
Like two lifelines depending on the audience. One where you just pull all of them, and one where it's just a person from the audience.
Yeah.
Anybody.
So poll of the audience is like you pick an audience member.
No. Like poll is the entire audience. While picking.
Yeah, I know. Ask the audience is
similar to pull the mob in what was 100. Like we pull.
I know. Like ask the audience is like
asking one compared to asking to one person.
The one where like you pull the entire audience. Are you talking about like 2 different audience ones or just one?
One. Like you ask one audience member the question and
one. Yeah, that's the one. Yes, the new one you're talking about.
And polling them with us have everyone in the audience
specific audience member.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Oh, you know what we should talk about? We should talk about Thousandaire. So like if they don't have enough time in a show, like they have like 3 or 4 minutes, they'll bring an audience member down and ask them like $1,000 question. If they win, they get $1,000. If they lose, they get nothing. I like it. I'll be honest, I like it.
I don't know they
I know a
did
lot of people
that.
don't, but I like it.
I didn't know they actually did that. They bring down a random audience member for
I
the last 4 minutes.
Yeah, I like it a lot because I'd rather just give away more money than start a new game knowing someone could get like then start a new game and have to tune in Monday. Like I want to see people get money
Mm-hmm.
personally, like, and it helps a lot because it helps you have a funny moment, like especially if the day hasn't been going very well. Like let's say you had a couple tough losses, like it's good to wrap up with that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you want to talk about the? Hmm. Do you know what the Tournament of 10 is? Because my memory is very fuzzy. Are you there?
It was a series where the contestants would return their non-jackpot winnings to guess $1 million question,
Yeah.
and the highest ranked previous contestants to correctly answer it will win $1 million jackpot. And the
Hmm.
person who won the jackpot was a contestant named Samoa.
Yeah, Samurai. So, yeah. So basically, yeah, it was basically like a top 10 sort of thing, like the top 10 best performers, and then the highest ranked one that answers $1 million question basically wins it. It's basically, I like that they kind of guaranteed $1 million one, but I also don't like it. What I would have
Mm-hmm.
done is just give them a chance to play again. Like, maybe give those 10 another shot. Or maybe you start them with no lifelines at the question they went out at. Or you give them just another shot.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel that's fair, maybe.
Yeah.
Not like having to redo the entire game, but maybe just. So, is there anything specific? I'm gonna open it up now. So,
Hmm.
anything you want to talk about, man? Because it changed a lot over. So, okay, I think. Do you like clock or shuffle more?
I I think probably which one which one airs on
Clock
Game
or
Show Note?
shuffle? Clock or shuffle?
I think Clock maybe because it's the only one that appears on Game Show Network and the one I usually watch the most.
Here's what I'll say. I think clock as like it's good in theory. My problem with clock is it doesn't speed the game up as much as I think it does. And it forces people to get out earlier because it forces pressure. And what ends up happening is, yes, we get through more, but we can't get to the higher level ones because there's still a clock, right? Like I would be okay with a clock for like maybe like the first couple questions and then get rid of it,
Mm-hmm.
but like not the entire game because it doesn't help people that there's a clock, and then they're burning their lifelines unnecessarily to stop and think. So, um, I really can't believe I'm saying this. I probably really preferred clock, but I'm gonna have to go with shuffle because clock would be good if there just wasn't like if there's just more time or like because the time limits are very strict. Time limits are too strict on clock, and also I think there shouldn't be a time limit for like the last few questions, or maybe just allow people to dump time
Mm-hmm.
when they want. Like allow people to use their bank time like more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can't be saying it. I know it's gonna be a hot take, but I prefer shuffle mostly because at least it's a game. Like at least it's still the same game in theory. Because here's the thing, like even though your round one winnings don't really matter once you get a question right in round two, like it does pay to like do well because you can keep the jumps, or you can at least get through round one and keep your stuff. Because if it pays to do well, because if you walk in round one you only get to keep half your bank, so it pays to do well, at least in shuffle, even if you're doing like really poorly. Like it pays to just at least know the questions, but all you have to do is get one right in classic. Because it all evens out at the end. Like once you get to a certain point, really, it just evens out.
Yeah.
Like if shuffle was the entire game, then I'd be mad. Like,
I hear ya.
yeah. Maybe it goes on a little too long, but I just prefer shuffle mostly. I don't know what it is. I prefer people being able to really just know what's on the board and then look at it and say, okay, do I want more or do I get out now? It adds an element of risk to the game and it makes it unique for each contestant. So you're not getting out the same points. Because like previously you would know like, oh, okay, I don't have any lifelines. I'm at 16,000. If I go for this and I get it wrong, I go drop back to 5,000. Whereas now you can either like, you can decide to jump something or you can decide to walk, and you'll walk with half, but it'll still be something, and you have a lot more control over. You don't necessarily have control, but your decisions matter a lot more, and I think I like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because I feel like in clock, like even if you decide to use a lifeline or if you decide to, go for it, like it doesn't matter as much because I don't know what it is. I prefer like shuffle is more better decision making. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
And then but I'll be honest, I like when they went back to classic. I thought it was fine. I thought it was better, and it took a while, but and I'm sad it got canceled. But I thought the return of classic was fine.
I
know some people thought something was off, but the only thing I felt off was the dang some of the music, not all of the music. I think the first tier and the third tier music in Classic Millionaire are fine. The second tier music, do you know the music I'm talking about? Like the ding dong ding. I don't know how to do with it.
I don't know.
I'll play it, or you can look it up, but it's on like question 6 through 10 music Millionaire 2019. But yeah, I don't like the second round pink music. Mostly because it sucks. What I do like about the set is that it kind of what is it? I like how the God, I don't know what they're called, but it's like the pillars they get darker as the game goes along. So in classic, in revived classic, I mean, in round 1 it's purple, in round 2 it's yellow, and round tier 3 it's, I mean, in tier 1 it's purple, in tier 2 it's yellow, in the first half of tier 3 it's blue, in the second half of tier 3 it's white. And I like that, but I think it should be yellow, or I think it should be yellow before the purple and the blue. I think it should be yellow. It should be yellow, white, purple, and then the blue. But yeah. I hate the think music they use for shuffle, like the first 10 questions. But I love any music after that. Any other music is like all the music is fine except that one theme, and like that takes up the majority of the game that like I absolutely dread. But yeah, do you have a favorite host? Mine has to be Meredith. I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for that, but I think Meredith is better than Regis.
I think it's probably Harrison. It's
Okay.
also.
I think that's fair.
I
I think that's fair. Harrison was better than like everything else they were trying when Meredith left. So I think that's a close second.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that if I had to rank them, it would be Meredith, Chris. I'm not counting Regis right now. But it would be Meredith, Chris. I'll be honest. As much as Terry Crews yells, I think Terry is better than Cedric. I know. Maybe I just haven't watched enough episodes of Cedric, but I feel like Cedric he'd be like, so, in 1974, this person conquered the land, and here's the 4 answer choices, and it'd be like really deep, and it's like you can't break up your saying of the question, but yeah, I feel like Chris is a close second. He didn't have like all the funny moments with everybody else, but he did keep the game moving, which I mean I gotta give him props for that, and he didn't screw it all up a ton.
Yes.
So is there anything else you want to talk about before we sign off?
Do you think do you think we say enough about the Chris Charles Ingram thing?
We're gonna talk about Charles Ingram in the prime time, because I have prime time a bit later.
All right, then we can probably wrap it up.
Prime time. We'll come back to prime time Millionaire because we're talking about Syndicated right now. But
all right.
Yeah. What do you say about Chris? Was there Chris you mentioned or?
He's just my favorite host in general. That's because I'm
Chris. Yeah, Chris. Chris is a close second for me. I think if Chris has hosted Shuffle, he would have done a really good job. But I think because when they returned to Classic, it was kind of like dead. Like the audience was kind of dead. Like everyone was just done. So I think if Chris had started hosting a few years earlier, it might have done really well. I agree. Do you agree? Or?
Yes, I do agree.
Yeah, I think Chris just needed to host a few years earlier. But yes, that was Syndicated Millionaire. And next time we will be talking about next time we will be talking about a show where we go from high level intelligence to really hard questions to questions that an elementary schooler would be answering. And Jeff Foxworthy is a person who likes to drag out stuff. Stop dragging it out, Jeff Foxworthy. Stop insulting me. I played the Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader DS game, and he won't stop insulting me when I get questions wrong. Anyway. But anyway, next week we're talking about Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader with Jeff Foxworthy and all the things that come with it.
Yep. And I'm not and both of us will be suffering it with Stefan.
Perhaps. Maybe just one. We'll see what happens. But, that's next week. Before we go, we don't necessarily have a shout out for this week. But I will shout our guest not Stefan, I will shout out my friend Jones Dillon 874. He does a ton of game show stuff and he's super helpful, and check out his channel. He does a ton of good stuff for the graphics and recreating graphics or having music or just a ton of stuff for the games community that really helps with any personalized games that people set up at their homes, and I'm sure it helps a ton of people. So that's your shout out for this week. PSA Garby, anything you want to say before we drop off?
Nothing else. Thanks for having me on. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yep. Okay, guys, that'll be it for this week. I know it was a bit of a struggle, kind of like last week, but we are getting better at this, and trust me, we will tighten this up. And I know that this podcast will absolutely rock in a few weeks. Thank you so much for watching.